Hey, what is good, Eagles fans? Listen, welcome everybody. I'm your host, Vic3, and this is the edition of the Big Ticket. We got the recap edition tonight. Listen, let's start off with that intro. I got my guy here, Dante. I want to say thank you so much for that intro. Listen, man, it means the world to me that you took the time out to do that. And listen, let's bring all my guys on right now. We got the ECG family full in effect. First off, let's start off with my guy, Dante, the man, what I'm saying, who created the intro that you just saw right now, that fire intro. Thank
Hey,
you for so much, so much.
hey, man, it's all good. It's my camera's like starting to blur, but we're here. We're here. Yeah, man, no problem, man. I'm glad you liked it. I'm glad you liked it. So
Wow.
come to the
You know,
come to the real people that do the real intros that actually know what the hell they're doing. But that's you know.
oh, you definitely know what you're doing, man. And I know everybody out there who saw it knows what you're doing. But without further ado, let me bring on the other fellas. We got my guy here, Pappa Sora. Papa, what's good?
I mean a W right now. I mean this W.
My
I'm gonna
man.
pull it. I'm gonna pull a Janice right now. I need this W.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we also have my guy, Coach Dante. Coach, how we doing tonight, my guy?
Yeah, hear me?
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
we hear you perfectly.
All right, I'm good tonight, man. How y'all doing? Shout out to Slay for finish and Papa Sora and ECG for finishing the stream for me. I have technical issues. That's why I'm on the phone. But I'm up here. Other than that, man, I ain't gonna can't miss a beat with the family, man.
Definitely, definitely. Appreciate you for coming through. And we have the second half of the 7,200 second podcast. We got Key in the building. What up, Key?
Big play slay. But I'm sure we're gonna get into it. What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
Oh, we definitely gonna get into it. We're
Ain't that what
definitely
they
gonna
do?
get into it. But before we do, let me just say, everyone who came through, appreciate you all. Listen, if you can, please subscribe to my channel if you are not a subscriber, and also please go out to everyone else's channel when you have the time and subscribe to their channels as well. Leave a comment. You know what I'm saying? Check out the videos. It helps out the algorithm. We'd appreciate it. But also, let me get to the people that are here in the chat. People that mean the most. People that take the time out to come through. My guy Stephen Joyce, appreciate you for coming through. We got my guy Jinx. Of course, Dante was already in the chat. Jay Milton, my guy, what's good? Appreciate you, my guy, for coming through. Jadis Young, what's good, Jadis? We see he was in the chat heavy. Also, Papa was in there. And also, we got my guy, Drew Johnson. Drew, thank you so much for coming through at such a late hour. And Nightings, a trusty A
Right,
number
just
one
past
guy.
my bedtime, but I had to talk about this.
Right.
Talk about bedtime. Look who's still up. Big Play Slay is in here.
I was gonna
Past
say
his
he's not on the
bedtime.
call. He'll fall asleep.
Definitely past his bedtime because we all know he can't get up when he needs to.
He gonna fall asleep in the call. Don't worry.
But everybody, let's get into it right now. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. What are everyone's initial reactions? Let me start off with Dante, the non-Eagles fan. What is your reaction on today's game?
Oh my God, man. Let me just tell you. Kirk Cousins does not show up in prime time. I'm a full believer of that now. So
Yes,
let's just let's
we
just go ahead
tried.
What
and
was
We
I?
tried to told you. We tried to tell you.
hey. And
I'm dropping his ass in fantasy, by the way.
I just thought that this was the year that with Kevin O'Connell being his quarterbacks coach from before, him going out, them having that relationship that they had, him coming off the Rams offense last year, and how well that Matt Stafford and Cooper Cup worked. I thought that was going to directly translate over, to this offense. And what did they do? Run the ball like every first down for like 2 or 3 yards, which not only stagnated that offense moving forward, but I got another point to make. Shout out to Jalen Hurts, finally proving me right because everybody was like, everybody and their mama did not believe this guy. And I'm like, this dude just give him time. Just give him time to develop, man. Just give him time to develop. And I know a lot of you guys up here have been saying the same thing too, but everybody knows I watch a ton of college, and
I got
I got his jersey. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always liked Jalen Hurts. And then
I
the
got
last thing,
signed.
the last thing that I'll say is Hassan Reddick is ass. I've been trying to tell. That's the other guy. I've been trying to tell people.
Yeah, that boy should
I've
not
been
be in
trying
coverage.
to tell. He does not show up in big games, just like Kirk Cousins. And against really good teams, he does not show up either. I have no idea what they were doing by dropping him back in coverage, which is not his fault. But the times that he did pass rush, he was nowhere near the quarterback. Like he's not going to get there. I've been saying it for the long time. The best, a top 3 free agent pickup of this season has been Kaiser White.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about it.
And he's been awesome. So I'll get off my high horse. Congrats to the Eagles. You know, this would be the first and only time that you might hear me say "Fly Eagles, fly."
Oh,
You guys deserve.
I'm gonna clip it.
You guys deserve it tonight.
Minute 13.
Somebody
I got you.
send
I
me
got you.
Somebody
Pappa,
send me that. Put it in
Let
the
me
videos.
get your initial thoughts of what did you think of tonight's game?
So I said on the, I believe on the Big Ticket, and I know definitely also on the East Coast Gridiron Show, that I did pick the Vikings. I said the Eagles can win this if Gannon fixes his defense. And by golly, did that man fix the defense. You cannot find anybody to say that, or to predict that this was going to happen. I thought it was going to have to be an offensive shootout. Offense, Jalen Hurts, man. He looked good. I don't want to hear anybody jumping on the train now. I got the receipts of when they were hating on him. I don't want to hear he's the guy now. Like, bro,
Facts.
the amount of videos and tweets you made about how he's not the guy, and you literally had his mom tell you basically shut the fuck up.
Damn.
What are
That
we
is
doing here,
mama.
brother? Anyways, yeah, it was a really good game. There were 2 things I hated the most about this game. One, how Jalen Hurts got his first interception and just bounced off of Kenneth Gainwell's hands. 2, the fact that I had to listen to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck the entire time. The one time I really wanted to watch the Manning brothers, and they couldn't do our game.
I mean, they was actually okay. They didn't say nothing too off the wall.
And Slay should have had, speaking of Slay should have had like 5 interceptions this game, man.
Yo, Slay went off. Slay definitely went off tonight.
I think it was the really bad pass interference that was not called at the beginning. He did not want that to be a factor for the rest of the game, and he showed out. So I'm glad he responded because people would have held that over their head if this was a close game.
Yeah.
Definitely,
I will say
definitely.
one stat that I did see was Jalen Hurts is the first player in NFL history to throw for 300-plus yards, complete 80+% of his passes, and rush for multiple touchdowns in a single game.
Hey, listen, that's an accomplishment that, a lot of people were talking about that he couldn't get. That he was a one-read quarterback. But I'll get off my soapbox. Coach, what did you think? What are your initial thoughts of tonight's game?
Well, my initial thoughts was pretty simple. Like I said, I did have the Eagles winning this game on the schedule when the schedule first came out. I thought they were going to be 2-0. I just thought they were a slightly better team. But my initial thoughts of Kirk Cousins, man, he definitely wet the bed tonight, man. The Minnesota Vikings was in scoring position 3 times tonight, and he threw picks on all of them. Justin Jefferson was wide open coming up out of the flat, didn't get him the ball. The times he was wide open on the very next play on a sit down route, didn't get him the ball. He decided to throw it in the end zone. So Kirk Cousins nutted up under pressure tonight. He did not have it tonight, and that was my initial thoughts tonight. But the Eagles defense played pretty well. Just like Jalen Hurts said, you got to learn how to finish. They didn't score in the second half. You got to get this offense more up and moving in the second half. They got to be a better second half team. But my initial thoughts is Kirk Cousins out there shitting the bed. And just, I don't know. And he rattles up under pressure. When pressure's on him, he's going to rattle. And that, give credit to the Eagles defense. They fought hard tonight. And, I got to just give credit to Jonathan Gannon, how well he put this team in position.
Definitely. Key, let me get your thoughts on tonight's game.
First off, I would like to apologize to Jonathan Gannon because all week, I was on the fence of this game. I'm not even gonna lie.
I said some things I regret.
Morning show, I had to flip a coin because I couldn't pick. I had my head pick and I had my heart pick. My head pick said Minnesota. My heart pick, of course, said the Eagles, and I went with my head. But Gannon, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You proved us all wrong. You are okay for now. Notice I said for now. because 2 more games later you could be back on the shit list again. But shout out to Jonathan Gannon but I still think he got Hassan Reddick in the wrong spot. That's just me.
Hey, you ain't lying. You ain't lying.
Okay,
But
I
let
just
me
want you
ask
to
you
know
all
you
this.
said exactly the same thing I said, which was I want my head pick, but I wanted to go with my heart pick.
Yeah, right. What did you all think of Jalen Hurts' performance? Key, I'll start off with you.
Man, that man was on a mission tonight. He had to prove everybody wrong. I thought he couldn't throw. I mean, he threw that 54-yard bomb, and it was right on the money, and it was a touchdown. So for all them people that say Jalen Hurts can throw,
Noodle arm wear.
he threw the ball. But I still think he needs to not run so much, even though I don't mind him running at times. But I just still feel like he wants to go. But I mean, he played great today. He had some great balls that was thrown. It's just that interception. Gainwell should have had that. It was a tip. That's not his fault. But Jalen Hurts plays phenomenal today, and it just so happens Monday night, November 15th, Michael Vick had the exact same numbers, 333. I'm about to go play that in the lottery. But Jalen Hurts.
I was about to say I saw that earlier. I was like, wait a minute.
If you know any number that'll be good for you, it's going to be 3.
Wasn't there like an entire song about that being 3 is the magic number? Didn't they play that at the end of Spider-Man?
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. But, Coach, let me get your thoughts. What did you think of Jalen Hurts' performance tonight?
I thought it was pretty good, man. I thought it was solid tonight. Outside of the interception, again, the offense is built perfectly around him for the read option. It just makes him more dynamic. And like I said, I'm gonna tell everybody right now, there's no such thing we all know Tim Tebow could not throw as a quarterback, and he should have played another position. But if you cannot throw in this league, then you shouldn't be a quarterback. So all of that, Lamar Jackson can't throw and Jalen Hurts can't throw. That's bullshit. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. If you're a quarterback, no quarterback makes the NFL if you cannot throw the football, period. Now we can go back again to Tim Tebow again, the only quarterback that I know that really can't throw a football, that can't really throw. But he can throw, he just can't throw it accurate. Let's just say that. He can throw, but he just can't throw it accurate enough. So I'm tired of hearing all that Lamar and Jalen can't throw. He proved it tonight. Lamar's been proving it all along, but Jalen Hurts played a solid performance tonight. A masterful first half, but again, the offense kind of shut down in the second half. Again, they got to be better on the offensive side in the second half. But Jalen Hurts played phenomenal outside of the interception, that should go. Any interception that's a tip ball that jumps out of a receiver hand, that should be on the receiver. That should not go on a quarterback stat. That should be on a receiver stat for being responsible for the ball just jumping out of the receiver hands and going into Jordan Hicks' hand. But I thought Jalen Hurts was phenomenal tonight. I just thought he was phenomenal. He had a masterful first half and couldn't be even better. Couldn't even be better. The offense couldn't be better. Just got to be a better second half team. But first half was very good. I thought Jalen Hurts was solid tonight.
Definitely agree. Papa, what are your thoughts on Hurts tonight?
I mean, yeah, pretty much kind of the same thing everybody said. I know a lot of people are wanting to switch up now, but that's besides the point. I mean, 26 for 31, one of them being a drop, the other one being the tipped pass interception. 333 yards, the one passing touchdown, the 2 rushing touchdowns. And key to go off of what you were saying, if I can agree somewhat with the rushing thing and also disagree, because I know last week that was him trying to escape the sack. But if it were the fact that he were the leading rusher again, then yes, I can understand. But this is the second week in a row that it has not been him as the leading rusher. It's been Miles. So the rushing's a part of his game. Like that's just a fact of it. You know, he's dangerous when he's got the legs.
Rushing up out of his game. You can't take that up out of his game. That's
a
part of the game, and that's what the offense is designed. The offense is designed for him to kind of use his legs at times in a read option. So you can't take away really the legs part because they're going to design some of those plays like that.
Especially when you have him rolling out the pocket. That was some of his best throws tonight. Was him rolling out of the pocket.
Yeah.
I mean, he spread the ball around to 8 different receivers and running backs. He didn't have a single receiver over 100 yards. His receiver he targeted the most was Devonte Smith with 7 receptions for 80 yards. And I mean, you kind of heard, or not heard, not kind of, you did hear Hurts say at the end of last week, he walked up to Smith, like patted on the head and said, "Don't worry, you going to eat too, brother, don't worry." And that man ate.
Oh yeah, he had to reassure me. Yeah, he did eat.
And
But
then,
Dante,
and
go
then you
ahead.
also heard, no, I was just going to end it off. You also heard Jalen Hurts' press conference been, I mean, it's cool and all, but we still haven't reached our standard yet.
Oh, I didn't hear that, but yeah, that's awesome to hear. See, that's the one thing I love about him. The kid's hungry. He's constantly looking for improvement. But Dante, what did you think about Jalen Hurts tonight?
Everything that I expected. Get out.
Everything you expected your dog to do.
This is the cat this time.
Oh,
The
damn.
haters right there.
I got a pile of clean clothes and she looking at it like ready to pee on it, bro. I know what they do. I know.
She's like, them some nice clothes you got over there. Should be
I've been
shit."
burnt way too many times by these little bastards, man. But anyways, Jalen impressed me. Outside the hashes, down the field, accurate, pinpoint, spreading it out to everybody. Everybody got a little bit of taste of a pass tonight. And that's what you want to see out of, like, when you start talking about, like, the elite quarterbacks. Are you able to trust everybody on your team? And everybody ate, man. It seemed like everybody got a piece of the pie. Do I wish sometimes that, he wouldn't put himself out in danger as much as, like, running the ball? He's a big guy. He doesn't get injured like that. He doesn't have that injury issues like, everybody else has, but he's a tough son of a bitch, man. Let me tell you that. Like, every adversity that this dude has dealt with, it seems like tonight was the very first game that I felt like Jalen Hurts has become in his own right now. Like, he is here. Like, and maybe that's an over exaggeration because I know it's one game. I didn't feel like that the last week before, when they played the Lions. But this week it was like, hold up. This dude's playing different. He's playing confident. I love his attitude. He's not the rah-rah type of guy. After he scored a touchdown, what was he doing? Went right to the sideline, put his helmet up, put the damn oxygen mask on. He put the oxygen mask on after just one touchdown. Like, just a long throw.
Bro.
I'm like, bro, what you need the oxygen? I said this on coach's stream. I'm like, what do you need the oxygen for?
That was right after, like, that happened as soon as the second quarter started. I was like, you just had a quarter break and you threw the one. I was like, I ain't gonna judge, bro. If you need more oxygen to keep doing that, go take all the oxygen you need, man.
Bro, he was.
I was like, sure, something for Quez though.
He was really impressive, man. I mean, I literally, it was like, if you're a quarterback fan, I said this as a hot take. He throws the ball better than Lamar, and I'm high on Lamar, like, always have been, but there are weird things that Lamar has done when throwing the ball, and this is why it gets him in trouble with a lot of people that know the position. Like, no, he's not the best thrower of the ball sometime. Can he be accurate? Yes, but Jalen Hurts, the stance, the way that he worked on his motion, elbow down, elbow tucked in. I mean, he looked like a pocket quarterback. What I wish that he would do more, stay in the pocket a little bit more, man. Because Slay said the funniest thing tonight, and me and Coach we were dying, bro. He said, "Oh, he's in a clean pocket. He rolls out." I'm like, Slay, if he had a clean pocket, why is he rolling out? So you just said some John Madden stuff right now, bro. But straight up, man, Jalen Hurts' performance has probably been, out of all the quarterbacks that played this week, Josh Allen's probably number one. I don't know if you guys seen any of the game, and I know they were showing the highlights. That dude just throws the ball like it's nothing, bro. Like, this is the best way I can explain it. If you had a cue ball on a pool table, you could chuck that, like, wherever you wanted to, basically. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of us. He chucks a football like a cue ball, bro. Like, straight up. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, without any effort, he's him, Justin Herbert, and Patrick Mahomes. I've never seen anything like these three ever. They're all incredible, and they all got incredible arms. Jalen Hurts is probably this week is probably the third or fourth best quarterback that I've seen, and we've seen some amazing quarterback play this weekend. So that's high praise coming from me.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Listen, I thought Jalen Hurts played wonderful today. We all know that interception, that wasn't something that was his fault. You mean running back should have grabbed the better, should have not tipped it up. But for the most part, listen, he was doing whatever he wanted. Troy Aikman said it best. He did whatever he wanted back there. If he wanted to run, if he wanted to throw, if he wanted to sit back, Jalen Hurts manipulated the Minnesota defense all night. They had no answer for him. So I think, and one thing I want to point out too, a lot of Minnesota fans were saying that Jalen Hurts is a one-read quarterback. My guy was making multiple reads. Like I said, he sat back. If he needed to run, he got out there. He saw an opening and he took it. And he took advantage of that defense. Now, Ed Donatel should have switched up that defense, but again, he stayed with. Yeah, he did it at all, which was to our benefit. And that's one thing. Jalen Hurts, he ate. He kept on. If you're not going to change anything up, all right, well, I'm going to do what I do. And that's what he did tonight. But let me ask a question. We kind of touched on it earlier. Hassan Reddick. Again, this offseason.
Dante laughing.
Oh, we're going to get into it. But again, we go out of our way this offseason. We're looking for a pass rush. We're looking to, to build up this defensive line, and we get sack, specialist Hassan Reddick. Now, when he comes in again, we came out of from the Cardinals, came from the Panthers. His specialties being a sack specialist. Comes to Philadelphia, some reason now he's a coverage guy. So let me ask y'all a question. Why did the Eagles sign Hassan Reddick to be in coverage? And will Jonathan Gannon finally realize he's a liability in coverage? Dante, I'll start off with you.
you just had to go to me first.
Again, I'm literally when I can already hear him laughing.
Hassan Reddick, man. I tried to tell everybody this dude is the gift. He's the gift at Christmas that's the biggest gift there, and you're like, ooh, it's got to be something good. Then you open the box and it's a bunch of clothes as a child. This is the same exact way how I feel about Hassan Reddick, man. Like, I understand he had 20-something sacks, in the last two seasons when he was with the Cardinals and the Panthers. I think enough credit doesn't go to Brian Burns. Just like I had said this on the Sunday show. The best way I can explain why Hassan Reddick had a lot of the success, not only had Chandler Jones and in Arizona, he had Brian Burns, which Brian Burns I think has 3 sacks so far this season. So, give enough credit to him. It's like when Chase Young had Ryan Kerrigan when they were the Washington football team. Like, he didn't get enough credit. Ryan Kerrigan didn't get the stats, but Chase Young got all the glory. It's the same way, man. I don't know why they're dropping him back in coverage, because this was never a thing that Hassan Reddick did, ever in his career. But when you look at the statistics, and I don't know who their analytics guy is, look at the statistics against good teams. He does not show up against good offensive lines or, teams that have really good records like the Buccaneers and people like that. He might get a half a sack here or 0 sacks or no hits on the court. Like I said, he's that Christmas present, the big Christmas present that you want to open first, and it ain't what you expect at all. It's the silhouette of the bicycle, but ends up being something, just a box of a bicycle. You thought it was the bicycle, and it's something else inside the box, man. It's a box inside of a box inside of a box inside of a box. He's not what everybody's hyping him up to be. Kaiser White is going to be the guy for this defense for a long time. Here you go, hot take. If he ends up getting 2 sacks this season, I don't see him being a Philadelphia Eagle after this year.
Oh.
I don't. I don't get too hyped up on the guys that come back home or from the area either. I know he's from New Jersey, and the Eagles was his team growing up.
Camden, yep.
Yeah, it was at Hampton Heights, right? So
Camden, New Jersey, yep. Right across
so
the bridge.
yeah, then you go to Hayden Heights High School or something ridiculous like that. But anyways, the the point I'm trying to make is, at the end of the day, I don't care if you go play for your hometown team or your favorite team. You are what you are. Yes, you might have a little bit of motivation to want to play good, but it's just unnecessary pressure that you're putting on yourself at that time. So just play like you've been playing without that motivation of being in your hometown. Because it could be a blessing, it could be a curse. And right now, he's not showing up. And I'm sure next week's sales on the number 7 Hassan Reddick jerseys are not going to be too good.
Listen, Papa, let me get your thoughts. Why did we sign a sack specialist to put him in coverage?
Again, I don't know if it was just like they saw something in camp they liked. I don't know. Again, defensive scheme worked, but kind of like he said, it's still a little bit of a thin ice. Let's see it be done again, especially going into FedEx Field, which is not that dangerous, but it is a divisional game against a divisional opponent and against a familiar face in Carson Wentz. As for Hassan, again, I just don't know why. I can tell you right now, I can guarantee it because, remember, we still do have 2 first-round picks. Both of them are going to be on the defensive line, I can already tell. Because looking at that D-line, man, there was just not enough pressure. I know we got 3 sacks it was 3 sacks and 7 tackles for loss, but that D-line still needs some work, especially with both Fletcher and Hargrave on their last year of the contract. I can already tell that. I have a feeling that's where Howie's going to go. Because you got guys like, and I'm not saying, obviously, Jalen Carter, because that man could go first overall, or Will Anderson, but I mean, you got big-named guys like that. And the Saints were a field goal away from being 0-2 right now and having a top pick in the draft. And if suspensions are going to happen with Kamara, injuries are going to happen with Janis, you never know.
Yeah, you don't, but we'll see. Hey, it's week 2. We got time to,
What the hell? Sorry, my cat is on crack right now. I don't know what she's doing.
It's a full moon. Cats are going crazy right now. Coach, let me get your thoughts on the signing of Hassan Reddick and what it seems to be the misuse of Reddick.
Like ECG pointed out, and you forgot, he had more than Chandler Jones on the defensive line in Arizona, man. He used to be in a part Calais Campbell. Don't forget, he used to be on that defensive line for Arizona. Chandler Jones, those guys right there. So that kind of opened it up for him a little bit. And Brian Burns, double-digit sack guy last year, has 3 sacks already, but that's something he is not used to being in. I've never seen all my years watching Hassan Reddick. I had never seen him in coverage like I did tonight. And that was just funny. Jonathan Gannon last year, I forgot who is that he had in coverage. Someone, Fletcher Cox, I believe that was some. It was a defensive lineman that he had in coverage, and I couldn't understand.
It was Fletcher Cox because Fletcher Cox was angry that he was guarding the screen.
Yep. Now Hassan Reddick was guarding. It wasn't a screen. He was guarding an actual.
He was guarding the tight end
slant route. He was guarding a tight end, and it was a slant route. It was a out, and then the dude came back out. The dude came back over the middle. And he just almost broke his ankles and made him do a full split on the ground. So again, I mean, Hassan Reddick, man, like I said, he's got to show up in big time games against some big time teams. And like Sora said, my safety brother said, that defensive line got to step up. I mean, Kirk Cousins, it was times he was in the pocket for a long time. Just looking at his progression, it was just Kirk Cousins having a shit and bad night in his eye. He just didn't have the vision tonight.
A lot of those screens would not have happened if we got to Cousins in time. I know there were a couple that were broken up, but there were also a lot of screens that, like, I don't want to say if we had a good D-line because we have an alright D-line, but if we had a better D-line, would have gotten through.
Yep, and most of those throws, like I said, tonight was Kirk Cousins, and he had time in the pocket. It's not like he was rushed to throw a ball. It was only a couple of times that he was rushed to literally throw the ball away, and he threw 2 interceptions. So most of the time, Kirk Cousins had time in the pocket. So the D-line do got to get more pressure on the quarterback. And like I say again, Hassan Reddick, like I say, again, I can literally see it not working out this year for Hassan Reddick the way everything is going. So, again, I don't know why is he in coverage. and he's not getting too much pressure on the quarterback. He was nowhere near the backfield tonight. So, again, that answers the question right there.
Definitely does. Key, what are your thoughts on this Hassan Reddick deal and basically how they're using him?
I forgot who he got burned by. I don't know. I was like, who the hell is number 7? And I was like, oh, that's Reddick.
I think that was the tight end.
Was it the tight end?
Yeah, because he had him covering the tight end. Irv Smith? No.
Yeah, Irv Smith.
Yeah, it was Irv Smith. That's right.
I don't know why Gannon just refuses to use his personnel right. Howie gave you the keys to the Ferrari. He gave you the keys. I didn't hear nobody say again Jordan Davis' name today or N'Kobe Dean.
Great point.
Where are they at?
Davis was in for a couple. Dean's mainly just going to be learning.
Put Jordan Davis.
They're not good enough yet. That's the simple answer. Coaches know that they're not good enough yet.
Put Jordan Davis big ass on that line and stuff some runs. I'm come on, like the guy is huge. You mean to tell me he can't be in there to stop some runs? But I don't know when Jonathan Gannon is going to realize that Hassan Reddick is not in his correct spot. I don't know if somebody else got to tell him. Jeff got to tell him. Howie has somebody got to tell him that Reddick is not in his correct spot. He don't belong there at all. And it just look at him looking at 7 all game. I'm just like, what are you doing?
There was one play, and I had to laugh at my dad because he was like, "Oh, he just pulled a baby Wolverine there," and I was like, "That's because he got tripped up and he was trying to recover." But it was him coming off the edge, and he got past the blocker, but the blocker I guess got him last second, so he tripped up, and then went to pounce on him like the Wolverine, and I was like, I mean, true, but he got tripped up.
Yeah, I don't get what Gannon's trying to do. Like, I don't know if he's trying to, basically trying to fool everybody to make him think that, Hassan Reddick is someone who can go into coverage. You should think that, and maybe later on in the year use him more in an attacking. But we saw him today. When he was creating pressure against the quarterback, he was getting through. He didn't get any sacks, but you know what I mean? Like, he was getting some hurries. He was getting some rushes. That's what he should be doing. I get you want to confuse the offense, but don't try too hard. Again, yep. You don't have to reinvent defense. That's not what we're asking you to do. What you did tonight for the most part was great, but again, you have to understand the Hassan Reddick's thing is not to be in coverage.
I mean, that's not the way you two times. We got the Kirk twice.
And the one thing you have to think about most importantly is we're spending way too much money to misuse him. Howie ain't spending this for no reason. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have to collect on this. So, and hopefully,
given that, however, we do know Howie more than likely will restructure if needed.
Yeah, that's what I said. Hopefully, Reddick isn't the one that's the casualty of him being misused. He has the talent. He knows what, if he's in the right position, he can get at the quarterback. Just use him for that. You have Kaiser White. You have other guys that can cover. Use them. But talking about people who can cover, let's get on it right now. Let's talk about it. What did y'all think about the performance of the trio? Darius Slay, Avonte Maddox, and James Bradbury. We all know what Darius Slay, he performed admirably tonight. He did a great job. So, Key, let me start off with you. What did you think of the trio's performance?
Well, first off, Darius Slay had the Clamps badge from 2K. Definitely on tonight because he clamped down Justin Jefferson. Maddox played great as well. Bradbury, they all contribute. That second, again, that's what I was afraid of with the secondary. Again, I apologize to JG for now. Again, he could be on my shit list later on in the years, later on in the season. Right. But no, the secondary did great. Even Epps, Marcus Epps was contributed in there as well. That secondary did great against Justin Jefferson. Adam Thielen did start to go off a little bit, but Kurt had to really find them passes for Adam Thielen because if not, somebody was all over. It was almost picked off again. But shout out to the secondary and of course Darius Slay, 2 picks, and I think the last person to have 2 picks was Asante Samuel, if I'm not correct.
Hey,
so it's been a while since we had a cornerback of that caliber playing with the Eagles.
Hey, a lot of people doubted Slay, especially before this game. Talking about, when they saw Slay go against Tyreek Hill, they were making jokes. Justin Jefferson, I believe I'm not mistaken, 48 yards, 6 catches.
I don't think anybody got over 50 yards on the
held
Vikings.
him in check. And when it counted the most in the red zone, we all saw Slay come up with that pick. But, Coach, let me get your thoughts. What did you think of the trio?
I thought they did well tonight. Like I said, there was plenty of times that Justin Jefferson was wide open. Kirk Cousins just didn't get him the football, but I liked the matchup. Darius Slay definitely did his job, definitely did what he's supposed to do. It was a lot of times in the game, though. When they were by the red zone, Darius Slay was literally running the route for Justin Jefferson, and he ends up jumping in front and picking it off. Now, don't be surprised if you're seeing everybody, and if you're hearing this, that you're going to start saying A.J. Brown is better than Justin Jefferson just because of this. Let's calm down one game. Justin Jefferson, I mean, again, you're going to have guys that's going to have that, that's going to have bad games. And Darius Slay is just a great cornerback. He's just a great cornerback. So you're going to have sometimes it just wasn't Justin Jefferson night. And most of the time he didn't get the ball when he was wide open. But when Slay was actually on him, he did a good job against Justin Jefferson. And there was a lot of times he ran the routes. The two balls that should have been picked off was actually thrown perfectly by Kirk Cousins on the sideline. Both came to Adam Thielen. And I just thought their secondary did well. Just got to give credit to their secondary. This is not an easy receiving core to even guard. But just give credit to the Eagles secondary. They were good tonight. They were fantastic tonight. And let's not start thinking A.J. Brown is better than Darius Slay, better than Jefferson, because he is not better than Justin Jefferson just by on this game alone. But just give credit to Darius Slay, man. Darius Slay is a beast, man, and I've been respecting Darius Slay's game since he was in Detroit, man. The guy's been good for a long time, and he has figured it out, man. So and I like the way he took that challenge this weekend, and he put him on just on the lockdown. But you're gonna have that, and there's gonna be some games that Darius Slay get outnumbered and get outclassed sometimes. There's going to be those games. That doesn't means he's a great cornerback. It's not a great cornerback. It happens in the NFL. So again, any sport it happens. So just give Darius Slay his credit and give him his flowers, man. He was great tonight. Every time he guarded Justin Jefferson, it was great tonight. He was great, man. The secondary as a whole was really, really good. A lot of batted balls down. A lot of guys were not getting open. And when Kirk Cousins was completing a pass, you can see the DB just right there. You can see everybody just right there close to him. So just give credit to this secondary, this Eagles secondary. They did very well tonight.
Oh, they definitely did. And listen, I know you're trying to quell the fires down talking about if A.J. Brown is better than Justin Jefferson. You know, Eagles fans, that's like spitting on a wildfire right now. You know, when you wake up tomorrow morning, you're going to see all those tweets. But Pappa,
That's what I'm saying.
let me get your thoughts. What did you think of the cornerbacks tonight?
I thought the cornerbacks were amazing. Really, the only bad. I mean, there were a couple of bad plays. I know the one that stood out the most was or not even the most, but there was just one missed tackle that Bradbury had that would have stopped them on a first down, but it was 1st and 10, and that was like in fourth quarter with 7 minutes left. Again, Slay could have had like 5 interceptions, but I mean, you saw Bradbury with the pass breakup. You had the first 2 drives with Cousins. They were both 2 and outs. Or sorry, 2 3 and outs. Then you had the touchdown drive, and then even after the block kick and you're pretty much in the red zone after that, what happens? Slay gets you an interception. Marcus Epps looked good, got a pass breakup as well. Chauncey Gardner, still think he's learning the scheme a bit, so it's going to take a bit more time for him. But, I mean, he still was kind of in coverage to the right part. I'll even say the linebackers, Edwards looked amazing, and Kaiser White as well looked amazing. They're great. The linebackers are great in coverage. But besides Edwards, I just feel like you need more pass rushing on that front 7. Again, the secondary wasn't my biggest concern going into this game. It was the front 7.
Yeah. Dante.
But, I mean, we stopped the run really well, so.
Yeah, we did.
Let me just say something about A.J. Brown. He's the man. He's good. But he's not Justin Jefferson good. And
Agreed.
I had said this on Coach's show before. And if you didn't hear me say this, I'm going to say it again. If you wanted more targets, why did you come to the Eagles? Is it just to play with your friend? Because if that's the case, that argument that you gave to Justin Jefferson before when he mentioned having better yardage than you and everything and having a better first year is out the window now. Because the Eagles run the ball more than they pass the ball. Today was an anomaly. I don't think that carries on for the rest of the season consistently. But if you want 10 targets, this is the wrong place to come to get more targets. And you see how he passed the ball around today, so you definitely not getting 10 targets a game. Like, come on, let's be real here, AJ. Like, you know, that argument's out the window. I don't want to hear anybody else talking about it. But, you know, Avonte Maddox, that disguised coverage on that interception was beautiful. I would have, you know, I was thinking to myself, I would have probably thrown the same ball, to be completely honest. That's just one of those things where it's like, unless you've seen that a lot on film of that he does that, it would confuse anybody because Adam Thielen was going to catch that ball right there on the far hash and, you know, have his feet in bounds because that's what, you know, Adam Thielen does. But James Bradbury, even Slay said it. He was like, you was right, man. You said James Bradbury had a lot of gas in the tank. He was putting the clamps on people too. And then Darius Slay, I mean, what else do we need to say? I'm uploading a short right now of him talking to Richard Sherman earlier about how he doesn't gets mentioned in the top cornerbacks. And he definitely, you know, I think he's a top corner. I just didn't think he was better than, you know, the usual guys. But, like, right now, he looked like top 5 for him. Like, he's looked better than Jalen Ramsey so far.
Hey, people have known, and you can check my tweets because there are receipts. Top 3 right now. Top 3 corner. I say he's probably the best because he can do it all. But, you know, there's
Jair's number
Green
1.
Bay. There's a guy in Green Bay who, you know what I'm saying, who I can say there is an argument that will be made that he is the best. But, again, Darius Slay, last year, performed crazy. He went all out. This year, he's continuing that. Again, a lot of people, you know, discredit Darius Slay. They say he's not good enough. He gets fast. He gets beat. My guy has been producing. That's all I know.
Facts.
I do want to say I just saw, because I know a bunch of people were freaking out when A.J. Brown went to the blue tent. I was like, the man just had to take a dump. Apparently what happened was A.J. Brown said he went to the medical tent earlier, had to use the restroom, said he gets an IV before the game, and sometimes nature calls. Before warned, the Eagles receiver said, I do that all the time. So, just letting you know, if you ever see A.J. Brown in the blue tent, unless it's some serious injury, more than likely, nature just calling.
Hey, at least he wasn't causing an embarrassment himself like Paul Pierce. We all know, we all remember that. My guy just pooed on himself and, you know, he wanted to get carted off. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's another one too, who was just like, hold on, I got a little rumbly going on right now. I gotta go. But at least AJ, you know, he went on the right time. But talking about AJ, let's talk about it then. How would everyone, you know, what did you think about his performance tonight? I'll start off with you, Dante.
I mean, it was nothing too crazy. I mean, he was catching a couple slant routes. I mean, he was getting open, but I wouldn't say that, you know, I talked about it before. The whole argument that he's better than Justin Jefferson right now is you know, and Justin Jefferson had a down game too, but Kirk Cousins looked terrible. So, I mean, to me, this wasn't you know, I think where you're hiding was messaging me earlier. He's like, what does A.J. Brown have to do to be better than Justin Jefferson? I said, have consistently healthy seasons and better seasons than Justin Jefferson has had right now. I mean, it just is what it is. Again, you don't come to Philadelphia if you think you're going to get 10 targets a game. I mean, he's a dominant wide receiver, man. Like, I know everybody talks about DK Metcalf being big, but, like, A.J. Brown is a big dude. He looks even bigger as an Eagle than he did with the Titans for whatever freaking reason that is. But he's when we were at the open practice, what did I say? I was like, God damn, that boy's big, man. I said, that dude got some white-ass shoulders and everything, bro. And then when they were singing Happy Birthday, and he had to cut sleeves. He was looking at Jalen like, "You better get happy. I'm gonna
Right?
fuck you up." Like, nah, he was.
Except the birthday song.
Yeah, man. That is he's good, man. I wasn't impressed by his performance. I just think he was okay tonight. I think the people that came to see him tonight were a little disappointed, to be completely honest with you. So, with that being said, I don't know how you guys feel, but it was just a couple times he got open, he got the ball. Jalen, like I said, Jalen Hurts is definitely more impressive on the passes that were getting there than it was AJ Brown doing any work. I mean, he was just an okay receiver.
Nah, but he did have that one play when he was rushing out, slid, backed up, and still got about like a 10 extra yards after that. That was a pretty slick play.
Yeah, that was probably his highlight catch of the day.
Apparently, let me get to the chat. Pappa Sora has a question.
I was like, I don't want to interrupt, so I'm gonna just say this. We can get to it whenever.
Go ahead, ask your question.
No, like I said, we'll get to it later. So for the AJ Brown, I kept saying the entire time. I even said it at the live practice. Jalen has always kind of needed, and not even just Jalen. I feel like every quarterback needs that physical receiver. It doesn't need to be a DK Metcalf of like 6'4", 235 or whatever, 255. But it's like you do need that physical receiver. And that's because that's what you saw in Oklahoma with CeeDee Lamb, and that's what you're getting now with A.J. Brown. You're getting a physical receiver, and it also helps that he can trust that man, because sometimes trust is just what you need between a quarterback and a wide receiver. Yeah. While he may not have had the biggest performance, he had a couple of key, much like Vic said on that third down, where he pretty much fathered like 5 dudes. I mean, it was a repeat of the Lions game at one point. He was dragging a dude for like 2 yards. I was like, stop. That man had a family. The man has a family. So, I mean, while the stats may not have shown he had the biggest game, he did what he needed to do. He got the first down. This was definitely a Devonte Smith type of game in the receiving area, but A.J. Brown did what he needed to do. That's why he's here.
Hey, yeah, I agree. Key. What are your thoughts on AJ Brown's performance?
Exactly what y'all said. He had his key moments tonight. Jalen spread the ball around. It wasn't just so one-sided with AJ like it was last week. I knew Smith was going to get involved this week, and he got involved a lot. Goddard, you got to make that catch that was thrown to you, buddy. Goddard catches all the hard stuff that nobody would catch and drops the easiest passes ever. I don't understand it, but I mean, it was nothing spectacular. I mean, he made the plays when it was called, when his number was called. So I mean, he did good tonight.
Yeah, Coach, what did you think of AJ Brown's performance tonight?
Everybody just said it all. Nothing special about it. Caught some big passes tonight, slant passes. Nothing more special. And ECG said it. Well, we were just talking about this in the stream. If you really catch on what people are saying, and listen to what people are saying, AJ Brown, just like ECG said, if he had about 10 targets a game, I would have the same numbers that you said. So what does that mean? And what I'm trying to say, well, I'm going to tell y'all, that means he's blaming his quarterback for not getting the targets that he's getting. You just got to listen to how they're said. They're not going to call the name out, but if you just listen to the way he said, if I get 10 targets a game, I can have the same number. So what does that mean? Only one thing, that he's blaming the quarterback for not having the most targets. Well, you come to another run-heavy offense where they're going to run first. Is you going to blame Jalen Hurts for not getting you 10 targets and Justin Jefferson over there getting his 10 targets when he's clearly the number one wide receiver and when they're clearly probably a pass-first offense more than they're run-first? So next you're going to blame Jalen Hurts for you not getting 10 targets. So if you just – that goes for anything, basketball, football, baseball. Just watch how the players, watch the way they talk about it. That he was basically scrutinized, Ryan Tannehill, basically throwing him up under the bus.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, man. Listen, it's I thought AJ had a good performance. You know, he got into spots where we needed, again, that third down play. I thought it was spectacular. But one receiver I thought that had a great night tonight, and I want everyone's opinion. I'll start off with you, Coach. What did you think about Quez Watkins? My guy was out there making plays.
Quez Watkins was very good tonight. Again, the receivers ate tonight. Freed up a lot. Quez Watkins. The 53-yard touchdown was clearly blown coverage. Number 24 should have just stayed with them. Pretty much stayed with them. He was confused. You saw Goddard go out on the out route, and that kind of made him come up and bite a little bit. So he saw that, and then Quez Watkins was able to sneak by him on a seam route, but instead he could have just followed Quez Watkins down the field, which led to a wide open touchdown pass, and that was an easy throw from Jalen Hurts to even make because the guy was just literally wide open by himself. He also made a big catch when Jalen Hurts was rolling up out of the pocket to get him in the third and short. Quez Watkins, man, is a dynamic receiver. He's fast, and he's definitely a type of receiver you need to take that top off that defense. And when you need a big play throughout the through the passing game, when you need to throw one bomb, Quez Watkins is a guy to go to. And he made some tremendous plays, and I'll say he was 10 yards behind both of the safety and the corner. But again, that was discommunication on the Minnesota Vikings part.
Yeah. Key, what are your thoughts on Quez?
Quez. I told y'all need to use Quez more. I mean, special teams was shitty tonight. And I know Quez is back there too. That's only one negative about the Eagles today was they special teams was horrible. But I mean, Quez is Quez. When he's going to get the ball, his numbers got to get called. So I mean, he looked good. You know, he can be another potential deep ball threat to Jalen Hurts again if he throws a long bomb. But that was a great catch and a touchdown. But yeah, Quez did his thing today.
Sure did. Pappa, what did you think about Watkins?
Before I get into that, I really want to argue the special teams thing because besides the blocked kick, what else did they do wrong? I mean, obviously, even though it's Jalen Reagor at punt returner, and even when they didn't, whoever else they put at punt returner, like they didn't really return yards.
It just seems like every time we got the ball kicked, it was in our end zone.
Okay,
that's where we started. We never
that
had
version
great
of special
teams.
teams. Okay, fair point. See, I thought you were talking about like when we were. I never really think about us returning it just because I choose to block that out because I still see 18 and I still think it's Reagor at some point. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like I just immediately tuned that out. But I was like,
just like you didn't know what June 14th was.
Yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, it's September. I was like, did the drinking start early, Key? What's going on? No, I'm just dumb. Anyways, Quez Watkins. He had the 2 catches. Obviously, the 53-yard bomber. I mean, that's kind of, again, that's what I was saying. Quez Watkins can be like what Deshaun Jackson was on the Raiders. He can come in, get that deep touchdown or whatever. Just kind of come in and sprinkle or mix up the offense a little bit between him and Pascal, because Pascal's been very reliable. I believe Watkins has been getting more snaps than Pascal in both of these games. I don't know, I'll have to check the stats, but I mean, yeah, I think Watkins can be very reliable. I know he didn't do much on special teams. But yeah, I think Watkins is good. I still obviously think there could be a potential upgrade. Maybe if somebody wants to request a trade like a Kyle Pitts, you never know what could happen.
They pay Kyle Pitts way too much money on his rookie deal.
I don't care. I'll start to go.
Falcons do.
I'll start to go GoFundMe page. I don't care. I got $3. Take it or leave.
Dante, what do you think?
Obviously, that's just me dreaming. But yeah, I do think Quez Watkins is very good. I think he had an excellent game against the 53-yarder, or against the 53 with the 53-yard touchdown, and it reminded me of the. It was last year's open practice with the. I think it was exactly the 53-yard touchdown. So they've been practicing that, and it just finally connected.
I'm gonna name 2 teams that would not happen to. the Steelers because of Minka
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick,
Minka, and
and the Bills.
yeah, I can agree with that.
There was obviously a miscommunication right there on the scene. Number 24 is Butt. I don't know what his name is. That plays safety, but obviously, I mean that's an easy read to make. I know he was looking at Goddard, right? But if you're seeing Quez Watkins running full speed,
He's like, hey.
30 yards down the field, you probably need to go cover that guy because he's either running a go route or a post route. Like I don't know what he's thinking. Oh, Dallas Goddard's the guy. Oh shit. Oh damn. I
like,
got exposed.
It's like the one picture of the Oregon defenders in week 1 where he's pointing. One of the defenders is pointing at the other defender, being like, "There's where the ball is. He has the ball. Turn around."
Exactly. Yeah, I don't get what he was thinking, man. But that, yeah, I think that was just. It was a great pass again, right in the breadbasket. So I can't take anything away from the play. But number 24. Actually, let's expose this dude. What's his name? Minnesota defense. We gotta figure out who this guy is. Players. This is not giving me a good view.
Wow.
But yeah,
Is it gonna be
number
someone who's on the waiver wire tomorrow?
Yeah, bro.
24.
Yeah, free agent from the Bengals, Mackenzie Alexander.
They're gonna be like, "Hey, Gowan, we're
It's
you get
Cameron
to start
Bynum.
tomorrow."
Nah, that's not him.
You said 24.
Yeah, no, I was saying the guy that I said. Yeah. It wasn't him. What's his name? Cameron what?
Bynum. Number 24.
Cameron Bynum, light skin.
Yep.
Stop. Go. Yep, exactly. There it is. There he is. What he needs to go do is go join the other light skinned dudes. Like Justin Simmons, Jesse Bates, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Micah Fitzpatrick. It seems like us light skinned dudes, we could play safety really well. He's making us look.
Team might break.
He's making us seem really, really bad. Go hang out with them dudes for a weekend. They can show you how to play safety because that'll never happen on them guys. Straight up.
I'm gonna have to stay quiet here. I can't say anything.
He's doing it. Let me ask y'all a question. Tonight, Dalvin Cook only held to 17 rushing yards, 6 attempts. What were your overall thoughts on the Eagles' rush defense tonight? Dante, I'll start off with you.
I don't know why they kept doing that on first down. Every single time. Give it to Dalvin and run 2 or 3 yards. Like, by the 4th time we tried this, Kevin, why are we doing this? I don't get it, man. I don't know. Dalvin Cook seemed a little weird tonight. From the catches to the runs, it seemed like he wasn't motivated at all tonight. He didn't seem like normal Dalvin Cook. Like, I was thinking that when I was watching him. I'm like, what is
under?
Is he injured? Is he going through something mentally? Like, the bobble. I mean, like, every time he caught the pass, it was like a bobble, or like he was like second guess catching it, and then it was a loss, a tackle for loss. I don't know, man. I don't know what was wrong with him tonight. He was definitely taken out of the game. I don't know if it was. I wouldn't say it was the scheme. I just don't think he was playing motivated. And this is not taking anything away from the Eagles defense, but I don't think that you guys got prime time Dalvin Cook tonight, to be completely honest with you.
We didn't get prime time Kirk Cousins either.
I think we took him out of the game from the gate. Any kind of opportunity that was given to him, we took it away from him, and he was just pouting the rest of the game, pretty much. But Pappa, let me get your thoughts. What did you think of the Eagles' rush defense tonight?
Where the hell was that last week?
Facts.
I would have had a lot more drinks if we had that rush defense last week.
Y'all let Devin Singletary do that to y'all last week. That's crazy.
Except we played DeAndre Swift, but
oh wait, yeah, DeAndre Swift. Sorry.
I was like, wait a minute, we played the Bills.
No, I'm looking at Cooper Kupp, and then that's where my head went.
so
Go ahead.
But I mean, yeah, I agree. Cook did not look like him. I don't know. I know his brother was also playing on Monday, so I don't know if he was. I don't think that would
Well,
be a
let me
reason
see
to
if
distract him. I
James
don't
was
know.
slightly better. Let me see.
I
Well,
don't know
let's
if he
find
was
out.
like trying to also keep in touch with what was going on with his brother's game or what. But I mean, at the end of the day, you're a professional athlete. You and your
Wow,
brother
James
playing.
had a better day.
James had more yards.
What do you have? 20?
53.
53 on 11
Oh,
carries.
So yeah, I don't know what
Hassan
exactly.
Haskins had a better day than Derrick Henry.
Oof.
Yeah.
yo, Derrick Henry has not looked good at all. The Titans have not looked good at all. Ryan Tannehill, here's your seat.
Great too.
Jonathan Taylor,
Here's your
here's your
seat.
crown.
Exactly.
Well, all the people that said Derrick Henry is the #1 running back.
Oh,
I will say with some of those screens though, like Kirk Cousins was putting the heat on on the screens. It's like let the guy turn around real quick. Like it ain't even that man hasn't even taken 2 steps and the ball's already out of the hand. It's like my guy, are you just gonna bullet pass it?
he felt that pressure. That's what it was.
Somebody put on Twitter, nobody going to talk about Derrick Henry's 1.9 average today.
Oh, did somebody say he averaged 1.9?
It sucks because I have him in fantasy in one of my leagues.
But yeah, I mean, I thought Eagles defense is good against the run. I do think we did not get the best version of Dalvin Cook. I don't think anything's going on with that. So maybe we just really did shut him out or take him out right out the gate. Or maybe something's happening we don't know. But either way, good run defense. Can we get that every week?
I'm hoping, and again with the addition of Jordan Davis and other players, if they can get that rotation in there, you don't have to keep Cox and Hargraves out so long. It would benefit us. But Key, what are your thoughts on the Eagles' rush defense tonight?
Again, like Papa said, where was this crap at last week? Like maybe I wouldn't have had my blood pressure pills
Right.
next to me.
I
Like
wouldn't have had to hook up an IV.
the rush defense was definitely better this game than last week. I was afraid only because Dalvin Cook's a good runner when he gets going. I was afraid, but pretty good kudos to the defensive line for stopping the run. So yeah, I hope we can continue to stop the run on teams with good running backs. So let's keep it going.
Definitely. Coach, what are your thoughts? What did you think of the Eagles' rush defense tonight?
I thought the Eagles' run defense was very good. I thought they took them out the game from the start, from the first play. I think, like I say again, I think Dalvin Cook is going to be fine. I just thought he had an off night. I just thought the Eagles did a better job of game planning and out coaching Kevin O'Connell and that Minnesota Vikings team. So again, I think, like I say, man, I'm not too low on the Vikings offense. I'm not worried about Justin Jefferson or Dalvin Cook. I think they're going to be fine. I just thought the Eagles had a better game plan of stopping both of those guys and stopping the run and setting the tone. And I just thought the Eagles outplayed the Vikings all night long and just making Kirk Cousins them uncomfortable. And that's all about stopping the run and making Kirk Cousins uncomfortable and game planning well for Justin Jefferson and Darius Slay just being on. I just thought the Minnesota Vikings, just overall, every team just had an off night. I thought their defense was solid. I thought their defense was okay. In the second half, I thought their defense was okay. I think their defense calmed down in the second half. Their offense was never in the game. Their offense was just never in the game. Their offense was just taken out of the game by the Philadelphia Eagles.
And they definitely were. Well, let me get to my next question, Coach, and I want to ask you because I can't wait for your answer. Is Kirk Cousins a good or an average quarterback?
I still think he's a good quarterback. He's not an average quarterback. I still think he's a good quarterback. He's not a superstar quarterback. He's not a very good quarterback. I think he's a very good quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. I just think he had an off night. Again, you just got to give the Minnesota Vikings. You just got to give the Philadelphia Eagles credit. I mean, it happens. Joe Burrow, we're gonna say he's an average quarterback for the game he had against Dallas and Pittsburgh? Is we're gonna say Justin Herbert had a game against the Kansas City Chiefs where he threw a pick six? Or we're going to sit up here and just say and just say Derek Carr he's an average quarterback because he had a terrible game. It happens, man. So we can't let this rebuttal and say that he's an average quarterback because of this performance. Yes, he doesn't really get it done in primetime games, but the man can still get it done overall. And yes, he hasn't had many playoff success. Most of it wasn't his fault because this Minnesota defense also declined as well when he was in Washington. They didn't have the best of teams. So I'm just not looking at this game and just going to go back and say he's an average quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. It's just he has an off night, and every quarterback has an off night, and he had an off night tonight, and he gets most of the blame for the performance he had tonight.
You definitely will. Key, what do you think about Kirk Cousins?
I mean, Kirk Cousins is right. Like we all did our QB list. Kirk Cousins is right in the middle of the pack. He still can be a good quarterback in this league. He just had an off night. When it's not primetime games, he can burn you. So I mean, Kirk Cousins is still good. Now, is he on his last leg with Minnesota? That could be possible. I mean, Minnesota could be trying to look elsewhere, moving forward. But he's not bad.
Hey, you make a great point about him being on his last leg. Again, there was a lot of excitement this year. A lot of people saying that they were going to go far with this new coach. High-powered offense. I don't know. It looks like Kirk Cousins may be what's stalling them. But, Pappa, let me get your thoughts. What do you think about Kirk Cousins?
Kind of like Coach said, I think it can be in between both. He was good he was great last week. He was average this week. I actually just saw Kirk Cousins is statistically the most mediocre quarterback of all time. The man is 60 for 60 and 2. 60 wins, 60 losses, 2 ties.
My guy,
like, you hate to
right
see
down
it.
the middle.
But I mean, yeah, games like this happen. Again, not even everybody was off their game today for the Vikings. Again, even looking back at Dalvin Cook, obviously you need good running back to help elevate your quarterback. So kind of when the running back starts failing, quarterback also fails. I'd say tonight, average. Maybe a little bit below average, but in general, I'd say good quarterback just in general throughout his entirety of the career of his career.
All right. Dante, what do you think about Kirk Cousins? Is he good or is he average?
After tonight, I'm second guessing myself a little bit. No, I still think he's good, man.
Still thinking 14-3.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not gonna change it because of one good game against a team that's
Alrighty.
Has a lot of guys that are obviously stacked.
Hey, I respect it.
So, and it's a primetime game. We know he doesn't show up, but maybe this is with the new quarterback, with the new coach. This could be. We seen it, and I called the Arizona game. When the highs are really high for a team, the most vulnerable teams show up when they are not expected to win again. So, and that's going to be the Vikings going into their next game. Who's their next game against, anyways?
Who are the Vikings?
Yeah. Who are they playing next? Aren't they playing the Cowboys next?
They play the Lions next.
So they play the Lions. So, again, here's another situation of like Lions coming off a big win. People are going to expect them to win because of the team. Vikings sucked in primetime. They're going to be expected to lose. I'm not going to be surprised if the next Sunday show I pick the Vikings to win that game against the Lions. Just because it's the Arizona situation, man. Like, I'm not going to say a team sucks because they played, they played the way that they played tonight and they need their butt kicks. But if you don't think that they're going to be as motivated as the Lions were to beat the other team they beat this week, then you're absolutely crazy. They're going to come out. You learn more from your losses than you do from your wins every single time. And this is a good time for Kevin O'Connell to reevaluate everything that he needs to do with the Vikings. And if anything, this shows exactly where you're weak at against, really good teams that they're going to have to play. Because say what we want about the Cowboys, the Cooper Rush looked kind of good. You know what I'm saying? Look, he looked all right, man. Like he's not terrible. like everybody thought he was going to be. So when they got to play them too. So I don't know, man. I don't want to say Kirk is bad. I think I had him like at number 13 or 14 on my list.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he still deserves to be there. He showed it on a couple passes tonight. It's just I don't know what the play calling was, man. Like I keep saying I said it before. The running on first down, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time in a row, when it's obviously not working and you're down in the game, like what are we doing? Come out on fire. Get Justin Jefferson to line up somewhere else. Get Adam Thielen involved in the game. I seen Adam Thielen open several times tonight, and he's still not having the ball thrown to him. So I don't know, man. I don't want to say that he's not good or average just quite yet. Again, overreactions, right after the game. Just like if whoever the Eagles play next week, which is I think not it's the Jaguars, right?
Commanders.
No,
Commanders.
we play Washington
Commanders
at Washington, and then we play Jacksonville at Philly.
So that's going to be an interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's going to be a good measuring stick for the Commanders, and it's also going to be if the Eagles can keep up their dominance. And I don't think it's going to be an easy game, but that's just me. We'll see. So
yeah, that's a perfect segue, and I'll ask you, what do you think the Eagles need to work on the most going up against the Commanders?
Pass rush.
Man,
Off the rip. Pass rush. Because of the simple fact that you're going against 3 really good wide receivers. 3 young wide receivers. Jahan Dotson's not going to carry if you're going to have Darius Slay covering him. I mean, Justin Jefferson is what it is, but like KJ Osborne and Adam Thielen are not Jahan Dotson. Jahan Dotson is probably the MVP of that team so far. Like he's got 3 touchdowns already, and they've all been very difficult contested catches. Everybody's starting to see that Carson's not as terrible as what people thought he was going to be too. Just like I predicted. I mean, what's he got, like 7 touchdowns already so far? Like
I think 7 touchdowns, like 4 interceptions.
Yeah, and some of those interceptions were really, really bad, but he's looked really, really good too. So, I mean, you got to give him his credit there. And I think they get Brian Robinson back this year, this week hopefully, and then they're going to have him and Antonio Gibson. It's not going to be a cakewalk, man. And
Don't get me wrong.
their offensive line is not that great, so their pass rush should be able to get through. And if they don't, those 3 wide receivers are going to have a field day on. I don't know if Darius Slay is going to be able to keep up the momentum going into this game. So, pass rush is the best friend to your secondary, and if they don't do that, it's going to be a bad day. It's going to be a bad day for them. Defensively, I don't know. Offensively, they might have their number again. On offense, they might score points. But, yeah, defensively, that's definitely what they need to do coming into this week. Because then we all know, too, Carson Wentz can run, too. He ain't Kirk Cousins. I mean, we've seen Kirk Cousins rush out, too. But, Carson Wentz got defeaties sometimes. I mean, it's a big dude, but sometimes he got defeaties. And he's made out of cookie dough, so hit that dude as much as you can. I'm not saying injure the dude. I'm just saying everybody knows he's a little injury prone, and if he gets hit, he might be out of the game with something stupid. So, hit him early and often if you don't want him to be a factor.
Definitely, Pappa. What do you think the Eagles need to work on going up against Washington?
Man, this man just stole my whole flow, word for word, bar for bar.
That's what I do.
I was literally going to say, front 7, pass rush. You're facing potentially the worst O-line out of the 2 opponents we have just faced, which is Washington. Carson Wentz. This should be a revenge game for you right now. You're going to FedEx Field. Doesn't matter. Stadium's in shambles. That stadium's probably going to have more Eagles fans than anyways. So the away game factor is not a problem with it. Again, if we can't pressure or sack this man or force him to turn over the ball, we got to fix something quick then. Like, even if we win that game, we still got to fix something quick. Because, I mean, that O-line's on par with the Bengals, and I'm not saying, like, obviously I'm not saying we don't have, or we have a Micah Parsons on our team. Micah Parsons is built different, bro. I'm not taking anything away from that man, but if you're telling me if somebody can't put up, not even somebody, you're telling me if a team can't put up the performance that man had against the Washington's O-line, there's a problem. Because I do think that will help. I do think Bradbury can handle Dotson. We know Slay has been able to handle McLaurin on his own. So, I mean, it's just front seven. I don't know. If Brian Robinson's back, that's going to be interesting. I don't think he's going to have a major role in his first couple of games if he does come back this week. But, yeah, I mean, you got to get that front seven going.
Definitely. Key, what do the Eagles need to work on against the Commanders?
I definitely say the same thing. Definitely the rush. Gotta pressure Carson Wentz. We all saw what the Lions did with Carson Wentz. Aiden Hutchinson gets 3 sacks on him. Pressure, he folds. He can't do anything. If you pressure Carson Wentz, he's going to fold like an accordion. So Gannon needs to be on his P's and Q's again like he was this week, next week, and we definitely can beat the Commanders. Jalen Hurts has to continue to throw like he threw today. Mistake-free football, except for that interception by Gainwell. He didn't catch it and run the ball. Just have a good, solid game plan like you had today. We can go and beat the Commanders.
Hey, sounds good. Coach, what do you think the Eagles have to improve on when they go up against the Commanders?
Well, that defensive line got to get some pressure on Carson Wentz. They got to stop. Same thing is always stop the run game. That's what every team game plan for when you go in is to stop the running game, control time of possession. And this is one of the games, like, I got the Eagles losing as a trap game. They're going to feel good about themselves coming out and beating the Minnesota Vikings. And this is a game on the schedule that I kind of picked them to be a trap game loss. And like I say, it wouldn't be surprised me if they win or not. But I think this defense is good enough. It's going to start by applying pressure on Carson Wentz, making him get the ball out of his hands. And you just got to feel confident that Darius Slay and James Bradbury can hold their own, which is I think they really could. But Jahan Dotson is off to a really, really good start this year. And that's something that the Washington Commanders need, a second receiver to complement Terry McLaurin, something that they never really had when Terry McLaurin still able to be consistent. But he has been so disappointing to me on my fantasy team. And I'm waiting till the day that he shows up, that he finally get ready to show up. But other than that, I've been very impressed about Jahan Dotson and the way he performed.
Oh, definitely. He has been performing great. Listen, I think, just like everybody's saying, that defensive line, we need to create a pass rush. We saw tonight, we have a good rush defense. Now we got to get those guys able to eat, man. They got to get attacked. They got to get at the quarterback.
Right.
Jonathan Gannon has made an improvement tonight, and I've been the one first to say I have not seen any improvements. Tonight has been the night I seen improvement. Now what I want to see out of Gannon is I want to see him build off that. Again, I don't want to see Carson Wentz running out there creating plays. I want him to be stifled. I want him to be confused. That's what I hope that the Eagles work on. Also, on the offensive side, I think the line did great except for one person, which I was very disappointed with tonight. Jordan Mailata, my guy. Your hand placement's way too high. Your first step, your kickback, you're doing it way too hard. Like you're anticipating it way too much. Calm down. Let the game come to you. Let the defender come to you. Keep your hand placement where it should be. The coach taught you well. Keep everything they taught you, you know what I'm saying, in your mind when you're playing the game, because, again, your hand placement is a little too high and you're grabbing up on the shoulder pads. You're going to get called for pass interference. They're going to call you for holding. So you got to stop that, my guy. I think if, they work on this, listen, Commanders, I don't think there'll be much of a fight.
And dang going ineligible players downfield. I'm like, come on. Don't y'all know we're not supposed to go downfield?
Like, yo.
Yeah. And listen, I'm really excited with our backfield, with the trio. I think they played great. I think they're more than able to handle what the Commanders can try to dole out next week. The rushing attack, though, that's something we gotta keep focused on, because a lot of people sleep on Antonio Gibson, but we do have Brian Robinson who will possibly come back. He's a very physical running back. We all seen what he can do in Alabama. I'm not going to sleep on the kid. Those gunshots to the leg mean nothing to me.
He was
He was
already,
practicing like
Bro,
the
he
next
was
day.
he was
He was
practicing
already
2 days
out.
later.
he was
Yeah, that
already
means
on the
nothing.
ladder, like with his footwork and everything. Like he didn't miss a beat.
I will say this. Listen, enjoy the win tonight. But tomorrow morning, it's out the window. It's forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
Move on. Next opponent are the Commanders. Listen, everybody, I just want to say thank you so much for coming through. Appreciate y'all for taking out the time, for staying on so late. Everyone that came through and watched tonight that was in the chat, thank you for so much. Everyone that'll be watching later on, thank you for so much for taking out the time. Everybody, let them know where you can find you. Coach, start off with you.
Y'all know where y'all can find me in. I ain't hard to find. Y'all can find me on the Spotlight Sports Network with me and my duo Key in the building. We do the 7,200 Seconds podcast. Y'all can find me at East Coast Gridiron as well. Y'all can find me everywhere, man. Y'all can find me on Coach Dante 31 on Twitter and Coach 31 on Instagram. And another great show with my family right here, and looking forward to many more, man. So thank y'all guys for always having me on.
Hey, man, appreciate you for taking out the time. And thank you for coming on, my guy. Key, let everybody at home know where they can find you.
Well, y'all already know I'm always in the building somewhere. It could be up here. It could be on Dante's channel. It could be on Coach's channel, Vic's channel, 7,200 Seconds with me and Coach Dante, the Spotlight Sports Network. I am everywhere. But it's Key in the building, YouTube and Twitter and IG. So you can find me anywhere.
Hey, appreciate you. Papa, let everybody know where they can find you.
Yes, y'all can find me on Twitter at Pappa_Fuchs, Fuchs spelled Fuchs, and y'all can also find me on the East Coast Gridiron podcast on YouTube.
Hey, man, appreciate you. Dante, first of all, thank you so much for the intro, my guy. I appreciate everything you've done for me. Let everybody
man.
know where they can find you.
Hey, man, you can find pretty much everybody, and Key's been on the channel before, East Coast Gridiron or East Coast Gridiron Podcast. If you type it into Google, and this theory has been proven to be right because of the T-shirts that I got from the one lady that they got sent our T-shirts to her, and we got her T-shirts, and we flopped, and guess how she found us? Because she recognized the logo, and she typed in East Coast Gridiron, and all our stuff came up. So with that being said, if you just type it into Google, it should list out everything that we're on, and go follow us there. And I like to say football content creation at its finest. Chef's kiss.
Definitely. Hey, man, this has been another great episode of the Big Ticket. This is the recap edition. Listen, I'm going to play out that intro again because it was so fire. So everybody have a great night. Have a wonderful Tuesday morning. I hope you're not too tired, and you're able to get at work. Have a good night, everyone.